G'day. Well, with summer now on us here in Australia and an expected heat wave this week, the pool is probably where you're going to find me a fair bit of the time. I wanted to retouch on what I've found is one of nature's pure miracles, and that is apple cider vinegar. I first encountered apple cider vinegar probably 2 years ago and made a video about it as well. Primarily it cured, not just temporarily, the extremely bad reflux that I had been suffering for probably 20 years and used to take tablets for every day. I took it for I think a couple of weeks, maybe a few months, and actually stopped, and it still cured the problem in my case. I highly recommend you do take it every day, a tablespoon, maybe twice a day in water. I find it not unpleasant at all. Anyway, that's a separate video. From there I also discovered, by pure accident, it was an excellent mosquito repellent. You just simply rub it onto your arms, legs, etc., and the mosquitoes stay away, so that's brilliant in itself. I've discovered some new things too recently, or found out about them anyway. I didn't discover the following ones. And one of the most impressive ones in my case, having cats, is it's a very powerful natural flea repellent / killer. And I thought, well, that's great, because over the years I've tried many different products, and I found they were becoming less and less effective. So what you do with fleas, and you have to realise that fleas, if you have a problem with dogs, cats, you have to treat everything. So with the actual animal, either onto a paper towel, just pour some apple cider vinegar, and I must stress, all of this applies to the organic apple cider vinegar with mother. You'll see the word mother, or with mother, written on the bottle. Don't buy something from the supermarket that tries to call itself apple cider vinegar. It is not the same product at all. Okay, so bear that in mind always. And there are probably many different brands, but Bragg's being probably the biggest in the world, so it's quite readily available just about everywhere. So with the flea treatment, just what I do is just get a couple of paper towels and pour some neat apple cider vinegar with mother, and they don't seem to mind. You just rub it all over their fur. Try and rub it in a bit if you can. Even Big Eyes, the relatively new cat on the block, she doesn't even mind, which surprised me. Now if you have animals that are more docile, such as the other old cats, I find even a spray bottle works, and just rub it into their fur a bit. You don't even have to get every square inch, but the more the better. But here's the other thing with fleas, you have to treat the entire area. So what I tend to do is dilute a 50-50 mix in a cheap spray bottle of apple cider vinegar and water, and spray every room. And I mean every room, because there's dormant flea eggs that are waiting to hatch. And with the onset of summer, well, that's when you find usually the real flea problem begins. So make sure you do that. Spray linen, everything. And I find it's a brilliant flea treatment. Really wonderful. If you rub it on your skin, it also repels fleas and other insects, as per the mosquito repellent I found. So that's handy as well. Typically, I forgot to mention, until I got out of the pool, a couple of other things that motivated me for making this update about apple cider vinegar. Firstly, I have to mention an old one that I discovered. When you use apple cider vinegar as a deodorant, rub it under your arms, etc., where you'd normally use deodorant, it works quite brilliantly because it kills the bacteria. And the driving force behind today's video is that for the last couple of days I had, for some inexplicable reason, a really itchy head. It was driving me nuts, so I did a bit of a search, and I discovered that apple cider vinegar was a good cure for dandruff. Now, I've never had dandruff, but apparently it's all based on the same thing. In the case of dandruff, the flakes are due to the same reason being an imbalance of the scalp pH. So what I did yesterday was simply wet my hair a little bit and then mix in a whole lot of apple cider vinegar, just swished it around in my hair and let it dry, and that was it for the itch. Hasn't come back. Some people also find apple cider vinegar as a useful rosacea cure, although personally I haven't, but I have videos on that. What I did find was useful. And on that note also, it's a really good skin conditioning product to use. So yeah, I just splashed it all over my skin. Restores the pH of your skin. And yeah, well, if you get it in your eyes or near your eyes, it'll sting, but don't worry about it. Just keep your eyes closed for a few minutes. Worst case scenario, you'll have red eyes for a little while, like I probably have now after the swim. But you can easily clear that with Visine if you have to go out, or similar eye drops. It goes away, and no, even in your hair, you don't smell like apple cider vinegar all day. The smell soon dissipates. Wanted to say too, if you're considering doing it yourself, make your own apple cider vinegar. My advice is don't bother unless you've got a massive family that eats nothing but apples, because you do actually need quite a few apple skins. And look, it's that cheap to buy in the shops, it's really not worth the hassle, in my opinion, but go ahead if you want. The other important thing to mention is do not worry about the weird muck or stringy substances you'll find in the bottle of apple cider vinegar with mother. That's actually part of the mother, which is good for you. In fact, if you find a bottle that's clear without any of that, don't buy it, because it's not the genuine article. So I think you're up to date now on some of the uses I've used for apple cider vinegar. Let's jump back in the pool, eh?
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Look, there's a multitude of uses of apple cider vinegar, and it never ceases to amaze me. The more I look, the more I find. So yeah, look, I'll put a link to a couple of those videos at the end, and by all means please list below other ideas that you've found works with apple cider vinegar. Meantime, given yesterday was 38 degrees, which is just over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm going back in the water. See you later. Hope this helps. Oh, it's lovely. See you later.